And welcome back to the Quarry garden. And I'm standing in the very spot, more or less, of where I planted my very first shrub here in the Quarry garden, and that was over 20 years ago. I planted 5 rhododendrons, which are all around here, these huge rhododendrons, and then I gave up because I didn't think that I could do it. It just felt too much of a big job for me as a very novice gardener. If only I had continued. But never mind, I did actually try again, and that was about 15 years ago. And I tried again to my left, and I'll show you that next, another area. And again, I thought, can't do this, and I gave up until last year when I started for the 3rd time, and this is the last time. But I do have a few problems in this area. One's in front of me here, and I'll show you that, and also one to my left here. One's with wildlife, and one is with a wildflower. Some call it wildflower, some call it a weed, and I'll show you both. Okay, I've got Mr. Quarry Gardener on camera this time to help me with this shot, but this is the border which is full of phormiums and grasses, which I've had a problem with, and the problem is with badgers. And over one night, the badgers have dug into all of the phormiums and actually shredded them pretty much. I think they must have been after grubs in the centre of the actual plant. They've just gnawed away at all of them. I might be able to save 1 or 2 of them. This one's quite bad, this one up here. It's very sad, but it's something that obviously when you garden with wildlife, you have to be prepared. And I wasn't. Normally over the winter times, I net these phormiums off, and this year I didn't. I failed to do that, so now I'm paying the price. But never mind, I'll do what I can to save them. But now I'm moving on to the next problem. So my second problem this spring has been with this wildflower, or a weed in my garden. It's Lesser celandine. Pretty sure it's a UK wildflower, and it's just causing havoc here. This is a new area. This is what I call Hosta Alley. I divided all of these hostas last spring, brought them down here. At that point in time, there was no weeds. It was just clear earth. And I planted the hostas, and I thought, great, this looks really good. And then this spring, this happens. What I didn't know at the time was that this Lesser celandine completely disappears under the ground from about May, end of May, early June time. It just disappears and you don't know it's there. And trying to actually dig it out, you leave as many of the tiny little tubers, because each plant has, about 20, 30 tubers on it. And you leave them behind, and it just exaggerates the problem, makes it even worse. So I'm trying to dig out around where I think the hostas are growing. I'm trying to find them in amongst all of this, but I'm not having much success yet. So that's the second problem for this spring. Anyhow, I'm off to plant some nice perennials now in the border further along. Okay, I've got several perennials that I'm going to add today, and the first one is Achillea, or Yarrow, and I've got 2 different varieties here. The first one is Terracotta, which I've grown before, which has lovely tall orange flat flowers. Love that one. And the other one is Sassy Sunset, which is lovely red flowers. Haven't grown this one before, so I'm looking forward to that one. Like all Achilleas, or Yarrow, depending on what you want to call them, they do thrive well in poor soils. They like full sun. You can grow them in part shade, but they won't, I think, flower as well. They don't like to be planted in too rich a soil or waterlogged soil, both of which could cause flopping, and you may have to stake them. They do thrive in most soils, hardy down to about -20, and both of these ones grow to about 2 to 3 feet width and in height, similar in height. But lovely for pollinators and butterflies. Definitely one to plant if you want to attract pollinators to the garden. The second is a bulb, which is more Purple Sensation, which I planted quite a few in pots last year. I planted an awful lot in the ground behind me, and I planted some extra ones in pots. I also planted a different allium, which is called Schubertii. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I think it has a lovely, like a starry, hard to describe. Looking forward to that one anyhow. I think that's more of a bluey flower as well, but we'll soon see. Bluey purple. And that's a later flowering variety, so we'll see when it flowers. And I've got one more, and I'll just go and get it. So this is the next perennial that I'm going to add, and it's an Echinops Retro. Never grown this before. Southern Globe Thistle, and it has lovely grey-blue drumstick flower heads. And apparently this one loves very poor soil and full sun. So another one that I've handpicked because of the site that I'm going to add it to. And I do believe it's hardy to -20 as well. Lovely purple, purpley bluey, more blue I think, flowers in the summer. Loved by bees. So that's another great add to the border. And lastly, I have a daylily that I've dug out from behind me. It was in the wrong spot. Probably the wrong time of year to dig out and divide. But this is it here, and you can actually see where I've sliced it through the middle. And daylilies are one of the hardest plants you can actually grow. That will just take off and it'll be fine. I've just got it soaking in some water for now because it's quite a warm, windy day. So what I'll do is, that's Frans Hals, by the way, that particular daylily. But I'm going to add more daylilies over the next few weeks, so I'll talk about those separately. So what I'll do is, I'm going to add all of these to the border. I won't make you sit through all of it. I'll add some and I'll actually show you the end results. Look at that very pretty geranium fame, dusky cranebill, one of my favourite early flowering geraniums. Love it. It's very delicate and I love it because it goes with orange. A lot of people don't like orange. This is a Geum. I didn't mention this earlier, but I've added it because I love the colour combination of the purple of the cranebill and the purple of the Alliums and the orange. It's very much favoured by garden designers. It's good to copy what they do. They give you good ideas. And then the daylilies that I've planted. And that clump that I dug out earlier, I managed to get 4 big pieces out of that, so that was worthwhile. Haven't managed yet to get in the Achilleas. I've just left them there in pots. I'll add them later. Unfortunately, we've run out of time today. But they'll give a nice splash of colour. I've got some more to add there as well. And then more of the daylilies. And I've planted some more alliums all the way around. And Geums, this totally tangerine one, they do recommend moist soil, but my best flowering one is all the way at the top of the bankside in full sun, which they do love, in the most driest spot on the bankside. So I thought I'd end today's video standing in the sunshine. It's about 9 p.m. and it's a gorgeous day, a little bit cold, but just thought I'd enjoy these rhododendrons. Look at that colour, it's absolutely fabulous. Gorgeous. Anyhow, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you soon.